Okay, everyone, my name is Byron. Today I'm going to react to the M16A2 and the A4 versus the AR-15. How do they compare and what's the difference? We're talking about that. We just reacted so we know how to say the words.
Talking about the AR-15 and the M16, it's not uncommon to get the two confused. After all, they both look alike. They fire the exact same round and have evolved over the years with similar technologies. But upon closer inspection, there are some very striking and glaring differences between the two. Most of these differences have been caused by the missions these rifles were designed to carry out. After all, the M16 was made at the height of the Cold War to give US troops a deadly accurate, lightweight, and reliable rifle that could beat anything the Soviets could manufacture. On the other hand, the AR-15 was designed with customizability in mind to produce the most accurate and fine-tuned civilian sharpshooting rifle on the market. But how are the two related, and where exactly do their paths converge? To answer that question, we must go all the way back to the end of World War II. At the end of World War II, each branch of the military conducted numerous studies on how their service had performed during the war and where they could make technological and tactical improvements. One of those studies was conducted by the Army in assessing the effectiveness of their primary rifle, the M1 Garand. The findings of the report were shocking. On average, it was found that almost 80% of troops who had experienced combat had never fired their weapon. The study ultimately concluded that the reason why the average infantryman rarely, if ever, actually fired his weapon in combat was his individual belief that his efforts of firing a single shot at a time would not affect the outcome of the battle, and felt outclassed by larger weapons or an unseen enemy. An interesting finding of the study was that those who carried the Browning Automatic Rifle, or BAR, actually beat the statistic, and these men fired more often than their rifle-carrying counterparts. The conclusion was that these men had greater confidence in their ability to effect change in the course of battle, and therefore fired more often. They also found that soldiers who were near these men also fired their rifles more. Therefore, Army officers concluded that soldiers in the future needed to be equipped with a lightweight yet accurate rifle capable of fully automatic fire. The first result of this was the M14. It was a very large rifle weighing in at almost 10 pounds, fully loaded with a 20-round magazine of .308 ammunition. It was capable of fully automatic fire and was the standard infantry rifle from the 1950s through the first few years of the Vietnam War. But soldiers in the field had many issues with it. The rifle was unyielding and very heavy. The heavy caliber also limited the amount of ammunition that could be carried. It was also uncontrollable in full automatic. The Army needed something to replace it and began looking at other options even before the Vietnam War started. One of the earliest contenders to do so was an experiment.
I think most of this was going to work for the Vietnam War. Okay, it was about Armalite.
Experimental rifle produced by the Armalite company called the AR-10. The AR-10 was a revolutionary rifle and was the brainchild of Eugene Stoner. Stoner sought to develop a lightweight, accurate rifle that was reliable in all conditions and could outperform all current rifles on the battlefield. To do so, he developed several unique features that would later become ubiquitous with the M16, such as its patented gas blowback system, polymer design, and ergonomic build. To market to the military, he first chambered in the standard 7.62 by 51mm NATO round. He did so because the military wanted to have their rifles and machine guns, which was the M60 machine gun at the time, chambered in the same round to reduce logistics issues. Initial testing with the AR-10 was quite impressive to the military, but at the time of these tests in the late 1950s, the government had already signed a huge contract for hundreds of thousands of M14 rifles. Undeterred, Stoner went back to the drawing board to come up with a new design to ensure that his rifle would be the one adopted by the military. That new design was the AR-15. The AR-15 was even better than his previous model and incorporated several major improvements. To further decrease the weight, Stoner made the rifles from lighter polymers and plastics in addition to using mostly aluminum parts wherever possible. This reduced the weight by almost a third compared to the M14. Another major improvement was changing the caliber. For the past several decades, the military had been experimenting with a smaller caliber bullet that could still deliver the power of full-size rounds like the .308 and .30-06, commonly used in machine guns. The AR-15 model was the first to ditch the desire for a full-sized cartridge in favor of a more compact and lighter, yet powerful round called the .223 Remington. The benefits of using a smaller round took into consideration the years of study of wound ballistics, where heavier, higher-velocity rounds simply passed through targets, but smaller, medium-sized rounds tumbled and caused wound cavitation, the expansion of pressure inside a target, which caused more damage. Medium-sized rounds like the .223 also enabled troops to carry more ammunition than before and created less recoil, meaning more accurate shots and more controllable fully automatic fire. Stoner was eager to get his creation in front of the military and went to some unordinary measures to do so. At a 4th of July